Hi, my name is Tanya Perkins, and I am the instructor for this course. Welcome to Interactive Digital Narratives, or Digital Multiform Stories. I keep going back and forth between what I'm calling this. At any rate, this is a 4-credit graduate course. Technically, the name of the course is something like Readings in Culture and Media or something. But all that means is that the instructor can choose from a range of topics. So I thought it would be fun for us to look at digital stories and storytelling. So what does that mean? A digital story is essentially a story that makes use of the affordances of a computer environment for telling the story. That might mean graphics, video, stills, sound, and it also requires some work on the part of the reader. So, as one scholar puts it, non-trivial work on the part of the reader to create the story. That's the interactivity. So, our texts for this course are Janet Murray's Hamlet on the Holodeck, which I hope you have. She wrote it back in 1997, amazingly enough. The edition we're using is the updated edition, which was released in 2016. Murray, who actually has a PhD in literature, but also has a really strong computer background. She started off at MIT back in, I don't know, long time ago. I think she's at Georgia Tech now, but anyway, so she has a really interesting background. And when she wrote Hamlet on the Holodeck in 1997, it was like one of the first attempts to really explore and make sense of what computer technology could bring to storytelling. And she was amazingly prescient in some of the things she said, like some of her prognostications were pretty true, came true in terms of where she thought storytelling would go, especially in terms of interactivity and virtual reality and so on. We're using the updated version, which, like I said, was released in 2016. And what's interesting about it is essentially what she's done is added new chapters, short chapters at the end of each chapter. So it's like, okay, this is what I said, and now this is my 2016 take. So as you're reading it, it's really important to read that 2016 little update she has at the end of each chapter. We're also reading the anthology New Narratives by Ruth Page and Bronwyn Thomas. And that's just sort of a collection of writings from scholars working in the field, looking at different angles. We probably will not make as much use of that text as we will Hamlet on the Holodeck. We're going to read all of Hamlet on the Holodeck, and we'll read select portions from the Page text. I also have several readings that I'm just going to be adding throughout our modules, either through links or PDFs. Most of our work, though, I think is going to be a lot more fun in that we're going to be reading or exploring / playing through a variety of digital narratives. Most of them are available for free online. Some of them you will have to access as an app on your phone. But I've tried to give you a range of digital stories every unit. So if you have problems with one or two of them, there's others you can choose from. So let me talk a little bit about how our course is organized. I think that might be more useful at this point. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to bounce this. I'm recording this on my tablet in my living room. So I've organized our work using modules in Canvas, and each module covers 2 weeks of work. So essentially for every 2 weeks, there's only one deadline, and that's the final Sunday of each 2-week period. Most of our interaction is going to be, or certainly peer-to-peer interaction is going to be via discussion forums, and I know that there's some people really hate them, some people love them, but honestly, it's just the easiest way for us to have a discussion in an online class. So even though there's only one deadline per unit, please please, do not log on in the final weekend and do a flurry of posts. If this was a face-to-face class, we would be meeting twice a week, right? So in a 2-week period, we would have 4 opportunities to have a discussion, right? 4 face-to-face opportunities for interaction. So at a minimum, I expect you to log on 4 times during each 2-week module. In fact, I'd like you to hopefully you can do more than that. So you're going to want to do your posts where you are completing the assigned work. And usually that's analyses of at least 4 of the narratives that you've read, applying some of the theoretical framework that's been assigned. But I would also hope that you would respond to each other. I'm asking you to respond to each other, but then respond to the responses, right? So in other words, check in to our forums at least every other day, right? So for example, let me take a step back. This is the first time I've organized a course like this. Usually each module is 1 week and there's 2 deadlines per week, but I'm not doing it this time. Because most of you, I think, are probably working adults with families and a myriad of responsibilities and a complicated schedule, I'm doing it this way so you have some control over your schedule, right? So you can make the schedule work for yourself. So for example, if Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays are super crazy for you, that's fine. You don't have to log in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Then Thursday, do the reading, make a post. Friday, check back in. Saturday, finish up the reading, do another post. Then the next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays don't work. Come back on Thursday, do a 3rd post. Respond to those who have made comments on your posts. And then Saturday, do a final post and maybe a couple of responses to, maybe respond to the responders. That's just a sample, but the point is be active throughout our 2-week period for each module based on your own situation. So let's see, what else do I want to tell you? I think that's it. Just let me check my notes here because I can never remember what I want to say. That's it. I really try to make the Canvas site easy to follow. So if you start, the module, just page through the module sequentially. And I will be participating in our discussion forums. I'll be chiming in and probably playing through a lot of the stories too. Let me add, in full disclosure, I am not a gamer. My daughter gave me my first game controller last week. But I love stories. I write fiction. I'm interested in stories. So my approach to this endeavor is these are stories, right? And they are stories. But as I delve into this, I'm finding that there is, a lot of tension between the idea of game and the idea of story. And we're going to be looking at that. That's part of what we're going to be looking at. What is the role of, how do we manage this tension between game and story, and what constitutes a story, and so anyway, we're gonna be delving into that, among other things. I look forward to working with all of you, and I'm here. Please let me know if you have any difficulties or questions, and I'll see you in Canvas.